The stars looked peaceful from the bridge of the TCS Defiance. Captain Jake Morrison stood near the main viewport, watching the distant lights of the human colony on Haven Prime. The planet was small and quiet, home to only 50,000 people who had come here to start new lives far from Earth. Jake turned away from the window and walked to his command chair. His ship hung in space like a sleeping giant, hidden from most sensors by systems that officially did not exist. The Defiance looked like any other human cruiser from the outside, but Jake knew better. He had commanded this vessel for 3 years, and he still discovered new secrets about it every week. Lieutenant Commander Lisa Harper sat at the tactical station, her fingers dancing across controls that monitored space around them. She was young for her rank, but Jake trusted her completely. Lisa had sharp eyes and quick reflexes that had saved their lives more than once. "Captain," Lisa said, her voice cutting through the quiet bridge, "I'm picking up something strange on the long-range sensors." Jake moved to stand behind her station. The display showed empty space, but he had learned to trust Lisa's instincts. "What kind of strange?" "Distortions in the background radiation. Something big is coming our way, but it's trying very hard not to be seen." Lisa adjusted her controls and ghostly shapes appeared on the screen. 12 contacts moving in formation. They'll reach Haven Prime in 6 hours. Dr. Kevin Walsh looked up from the science station. He was a thin man with gray hair who seemed to know everything about alien technology. "Captain, those energy signatures don't match anything in our public databases. But they do match something else." Jake raised an eyebrow. "Something else?" Kevin's fingers moved across his console, bringing up classified files that most humans had never seen. Zephyrian Dominion warships, quantum displacement drives, gravitic shields, the works. This is military hardware. The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew about the Zephyrians. They were one of the most powerful alien races in the galaxy, with technology that made human ships look like toys. At least that was what everyone believed. Commander Amy Carter spoke from the communication station. "Captain, should I send a warning to Haven Prime?" Jake considered this. The colony had some defenses, but nothing that could stop a Zephyrian fleet. If these aliens wanted to destroy the planet, they could do it easily. But Jake had orders that went beyond protecting one colony. "Not yet," Jake said. "Kevin, how long until they detect us?" The scientist studied his readings. "Their sensors are good, but not perfect. We can stay hidden for another 4 hours, maybe 5 if we're careful." Jake nodded. The Defiance had been built for moments like this. For 30 years, humanity had been preparing for the day when the aliens would come. Most people thought Earth was weak and defenseless. The truth was very different. Major Ryan Brooks entered the bridge from the Marine section. He was a big man with scars on his face and eyes that had seen too many battles. "Captain, my teams are ready. Whatever those aliens are planning, we can handle it." "I hope so," Jake said. "Because if our intelligence is right, this isn't just a raid. This is the beginning of something much bigger." Lisa's station beeped with new data. "Captain, I'm reading massive energy signatures from the alien ships. They're powering up weapons that could level entire cities." Jake felt a cold weight in his stomach. The Zephyrians weren't here to talk or explore. They were here to conquer, and they expected humanity to surrender without a fight. Dr. Walsh pulled up more classified files. "Captain, according to these reports, the Zephyrians have been watching human colonies for years. They think we're primitive and weak. They don't know about ships like the Defiance." "Good," Jake said. "Let them keep thinking that." The alien fleet moved closer to Haven Prime. On the sensors, they looked unstoppable. 12 massive warships with enough firepower to destroy a dozen human colonies. But Jake knew something the aliens did not know. Humanity had been preparing for this day since the first contact with alien races 50 years ago. Amy Carter monitored alien communications. "Captain, they're talking to each other on multiple frequencies. I can't understand everything, but they sound confident. They think this will be easy." Jake walked back to his command chair and sat down. Around him, his crew worked quietly at their stations. They all knew what was at stake. If the Defiance failed here, other human colonies would follow. The aliens would learn that humanity was defenseless, and the invasion would spread across human space. But the Defiance was not defenseless. The ship carried technology that no alien race had ever seen. Weapons and defenses that had been developed in secret laboratories hidden throughout human space. The aliens thought they were attacking a primitive species. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Lisa checked her readings again. Captain, the alien fleet is changing formation. They're preparing for battle. Are they targeting the planet? Not yet. They seem to be looking for something else. Maybe they're trying to find our ship. Jake smiled grimly. The Zephyrians could look all they wanted. The Defiance had systems that made it nearly invisible to alien sensors. But when the time came to fight, the ship would reveal capabilities that would shock the entire galaxy. Kevin Walsh studied the alien ships through his instruments. Captain, I'm detecting some interesting things about their technology. Their shields operate on frequencies we've seen before. Their weapons use energy patterns that match our classified research. You're saying we can counter their technology? I'm saying we were designed to counter their technology. Jake felt a surge of pride in his ship and crew. The Defiance was more than a warship. It was humanity's answer to alien arrogance. For decades, the other races had looked down on humans as newcomers and primitives. That was about to change. Amy Carter's station lit up with incoming signals. Captain, the aliens are trying to communicate with Haven Prime. They're demanding surrender. Jake stood up from his chair. The moment of truth had arrived. He could reveal his ship now and try to negotiate, or he could wait and see what the aliens really intended. Either way, the Defiance would soon show the galaxy that humanity was not as helpless as everyone believed. All stations, prepare for action, Jake ordered. It's time to introduce ourselves to our new friends. The alien communication came through with perfect clarity. Admiral Vex Thara of the Zephyrian Dominion appeared on the main screen, her tall form covered in the flowing robes that marked her high rank. Her four eyes glowed with confidence as she looked down at what she believed was a primitive human colony. Inhabitants of this world, the alien admiral said in accented but clear English. I am Admiral Vex Thara of the Dominion Fleet. Your presence in this sector violates our territorial claims. You will evacuate this planet within 1 solar day, or we will remove you by force. Captain Jake Morrison watched the transmission from his hidden position. The alien's words were polite, but her tone carried the weight of absolute authority. She expected immediate obedience from what she saw as a lesser species. Amy Carter looked up from her communication station. Captain, I'm detecting broadcasts on 17 different frequencies. They're not just talking to Haven Prime. They're coordinating with other fleets throughout this sector. Jake felt his blood run cold. How many other fleets? At least 6 that I can identify. Maybe more. Amy's fingers flew across her controls. Captain, this isn't a simple territorial dispute. This is the beginning of a major invasion. Dr. Kevin Walsh studied the alien transmissions through his science station. Captain, I'm picking up references to something called Operation Swift Harvest. From what I can understand, they're planning to seize 12 human colonies in the next week. Jake clenched his fists. The Zephyrians had been planning this for months, maybe years. They had studied human defenses and found them wanting. Now they were moving to claim human space as their own. Lieutenant Commander Lisa Harper monitored the alien fleet's movements. Captain, they're spreading out around the planet. 3 ships are moving to block any escape routes. The others are positioning themselves for orbital bombardment. On the main screen, Admiral Vex Thara continued her demands. You have 1 hour to begin evacuation. After that time, we will demonstrate the consequences of defying the Dominion. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge of the Defiance in tense silence. Jake looked around at his crew. Each of them understood what they were facing. 12 alien warships against 1 human cruiser that was supposed to remain hidden. Major Ryan Brooks stepped forward. Captain, my Marines are ready for boarding actions. We can take some of their ships if needed. I hope it doesn't come to that, Jake replied. He activated the ship's internal communications. All hands, this is the captain. We are about to reveal ourselves to an alien fleet that believes humanity is weak and defenseless. Today we show them how wrong they are. Commander Amy Carter opened a communication channel to Haven Prime. Colony Control, this is TCS Defiance. Do not comply with alien demands. Repeat, do not begin evacuation. We are here to protect you. The response came quickly. Defiance, this is Governor Patricia Wells on Haven Prime. Thank God you're here. We were preparing to evacuate, but 50,000 people can't be moved in 1 hour. What are your orders? Jake took a deep breath. Governor, tell your people to take shelter in the underground complexes. This is going to get dangerous. Lisa Harper's station began beeping with alarm signals. Captain, the alien fleet is powering up weapons. I'm reading massive energy buildups in their primary guns. On the sensor displays, the Zephyrian ships glowed with deadly light. Their weapons were designed to crack open planets and boil away atmospheres. Against a defenseless human colony, they would be unstoppable. Dr. Walsh looked up from his instruments. Captain, they're targeting the main settlement. Those weapons will kill 20,000 people in the first strike. Jake stood up from his command chair. The time for hiding was over. Amy, open a channel to the alien flagship. Channel open, sir. Jake straightened his uniform and faced the main screen. Admiral Vexthera. This is Captain Jake Morrison of the Terran colonial ship Defiance. I suggest you reconsider your actions. The alien admiral appeared on screen again, her four eyes narrowing with surprise and then amusement. A single human warship? Captain Morrison, you are either very brave or very foolish. Your vessel appears to be a standard colonial cruiser. Do you really think you can face 12 Dominion warships? I think you should withdraw from Terran space before this situation gets worse, Jake replied calmly. Admiral Vexthera laughed, a sound like wind chimes in a storm. Captain, I have studied your species for many years. Your technology is crude, your weapons are weak, and your ships are built for transport, not war. Stand down immediately or I will destroy you along with the colony. Jake looked around his bridge at his crew. Lisa Harper had her hand hovering over the tactical controls. Kevin Walsh was monitoring alien weapon systems. Amy Carter was recording everything for transmission to Earth. Major Brooks stood ready for whatever came next. Admiral, Jake said quietly, you have studied the wrong humans. The alien's expression shifted from amusement to confusion. What do you mean? You've been watching our civilian ships and commercial vessels. You've been analyzing our public technology and our colonial defenses, but you haven't been watching the ships that don't appear in any database. Admiral Vexithara's eyes glowed brighter. You're bluffing. Our intelligence is perfect. We know exactly what humanity is capable of. Jake smiled grimly. No, Admiral. You know what we wanted you to know. The real question is, are you prepared to learn what we've been hiding? The alien admiral's confidence began to waver. Something in Jake's voice suggested that this encounter would not go as she expected. Captain Morrison, you have 30 seconds to surrender before I demonstrate the power of the Dominion. Admiral, Jake said, you're about to discover that the Dominion isn't the most advanced civilization in this part of the galaxy anymore. Lisa Harper looked up from her station. Captain, they're locking weapons on our position. Jake nodded. Lisa, it's time to show them what the Defiance can really do. Drop the stealth fields and raise full defensive systems. Aye, sir. Stealth fields dropping. Defensive systems activating. On every alien sensor screen in the fleet, the human ship suddenly blazed with energy patterns they had never seen before. What had appeared to be a simple colonial cruiser now showed power readings that made no sense. Admiral Vexithera stared at her displays in shock. Impossible. No human ship can generate that much energy. Jake's smile widened. Admiral, welcome to the new reality. Humanity isn't hiding anymore. The Zephyrian fleet opened fire with everything they had. 12 massive warships unleashed quantum disruptors, plasma cannons, and gravitic torpedoes. The space around the Defiance lit up like a dying star as alien weapons poured their fury onto the human vessel. Admiral Vexithera watched from her flagship's bridge as the energy reading spiked beyond her instrument's ability to measure. No ship should be able to survive such concentrated firepower. When the light faded, she expected to see debris and empty space. Instead, the human ship hung exactly where it had been before. Its hull glowed with a strange blue energy that pulsed like a heartbeat. Not only had the vessel survived, but it seemed completely undamaged. Impossible, whispered Sub-Admiral Krenthos from the tactical station. Our weapons should have vaporized that ship. On the bridge of the Defiance, Captain Jake Morrison stood calmly at his command chair. The ship had barely shaken during the alien attack. Around him, his crew worked with practiced efficiency at stations that no standard human warship possessed. Damage report, Jake ordered. Chief Engineer Carlos Rodriguez looked up from his station with a slight smile. No damage, Captain. The adaptive armor absorbed 90% of their energy output. The ship's systems are operating at full capacity. Jake nodded. The Defiance's hull was made from programmable matter that could restructure itself to counter different types of weapons. The aliens had just taught the ship exactly how to defend against their technology. Dr. Kevin Walsh studied his instruments with fascination. Captain, our hull is already adapting to their weapon frequencies. If they fire again, we'll absorb even more of their energy. Lieutenant Commander Lisa Harper looked up from the tactical station. Captain, I have weapons lock on all 12 enemy ships. Our targeting systems have analyzed their shield harmonics and defensive patterns. Jake activated the ship's communications. Admiral Vexithera, that was an impressive display of firepower. Would you like to see ours? The alien admiral appeared on screen again, but her confident expression had been replaced by confusion and growing fear. Your ship survived our full fleet bombardment. How is this possible? Simple, Jake replied. We've had 50 years to study your technology and develop counters for it. Every weapon you just fired has been tested against our defenses in secret laboratories. We know exactly how to stop everything you can throw at us. Admiral Vexithera's four eyes glowed with anger. You're lying. Humans are primitives. Your entire species has barely learned to travel between stars. Jake gestured to Lisa Harper, who activated the Defiance's weapon systems. The ship's hull opened in dozens of places, revealing gun ports that seemed to bend space around them. Energy patterns that had never been seen in the galaxy began building to dangerous levels. Admiral, Jake said quietly, meet humanity's real technology. The Defiance fired a single shot from its main particle beam array. The weapon cut through space like a blade of pure light, striking the nearest Zephyrian cruiser. Instead of destroying the alien ship, the beam seemed to analyze it, wrapping around the vessel in tendrils of energy. On his instruments, Dr. Walsh watched the beam's progress with excitement. Captain, the targeting beam is mapping their hull composition, shield frequency, and internal systems. We're learning everything about their technology in real time. The alien cruiser tried to maneuver away from the energy beam, but it followed like a living thing. Within seconds, the ship's shields failed and its weapons powered down. The vessel hung helplessly in space, completely disabled but undamaged. Admiral Vexithera stared at her tactical displays in shock. What have you done to the Resolute? Nothing permanent, Jake replied. Your ship is intact, but its systems are temporarily disabled. Consider it a demonstration of restraint. Major Ryan Brooks stepped forward. Captain, launching boarding pods now. Through the viewports, small objects shot out from the Defiance toward the disabled alien ship. But these weren't normal boarding pods. As they approached the Zephyrian cruiser, they seemed to fade in and out of existence. Sub-Admiral Krenthos watched in horror as human Marines materialized inside his ship's corridors. Admiral, they're inside the Resolute. Their soldiers appeared out of nowhere. Jake activated the ship's external speakers. Admiral, my Marines are equipped with dimensional shift technology. Your shields and armor can't stop them, because they don't exist in normal space until they choose to. They're trained for non-lethal takedowns, so your crews will not be harmed. The alien admiral's voice shook with rage and fear. This is impossible. Dimensional manipulation requires technology that won't be developed for another 1,000 years. Maybe by your species. Jake said calmly. Humans tend to think outside the box. Engineer Carlos Rodriguez looked up from his station. Captain, I'm deploying the construction nanites. Jake nodded. Around the Defiance, space began to shimmer as microscopic machines spread out from the ship. The nanites began collecting debris from the battle and converting it into raw materials. Dr. Walsh monitored the process with fascination. Captain, the nanites are building additional weapon platforms and defensive systems. We're essentially turning this entire area into a fortress. Admiral Vexithera watched her sensors as human technology transformed the battlefield around them. Weapon platforms materialized from nothing, powered by energy sources she couldn't identify. Defensive barriers appeared between her ships and the human vessel. Admiral, came the voice of Major Brooks through the communication system. This is Major Ryan Brooks of the Terran Colonial Marines. I'm currently aboard your ship Resolute with my team. Your crew has been secured and is unharmed. We're downloading your computer systems now. The alien admiral's hands shook as she realized the full scope of what was happening. Not only had her fleet failed to destroy one human ship, but that ship was now demonstrating technology that surpassed anything the Dominion possessed. Jake's voice came through the speakers again. Admiral Vexithera, I think it's time we had an honest conversation about the balance of power in this galaxy. Navigator Beth Stone looked up from her station. Captain, I'm detecting quantum entanglement signals. The ship is communicating with other human vessels throughout the sector. Jake smiled. Admiral, you should know that the Defiance isn't alone. We have similar ships stationed throughout human space. Your invasion of 12 colonies just became much more complicated. The alien admiral stared at her displays as more impossible readings appeared. Human ships were decloaking throughout the sector, revealing themselves to stunned Zephyrian forces. The carefully planned invasion had become a disaster in the span of minutes. "This changes everything," Admiral Vexithera whispered. "Yes," Jake agreed. "It does. The question is, what are you going to do about it?" Admiral Vexithera stared at her command displays as reports flooded in from across the sector. Every Zephyrian fleet involved in Operation Swift Harvest was sending the same impossible message. Human ships were appearing everywhere, demonstrating technology that shouldn't exist. "Admiral," Sub-Admiral Krenthos called from his station, his voice tight with fear. "The Resolute is reporting that human Marines have taken complete control of their computer systems. They're accessing our classified databases." On the bridge of the Defiance, Major Ryan Brooks appeared on the main screen. He stood in what was clearly the Zephyrian ship's command center, surrounded by alien crew members who sat quietly under guard. "Captain Morrison," Brooks reported, "we've secured the enemy vessel. Their computer systems are more advanced than expected, but our cyber warfare programs are handling them. We're downloading their fleet deployments, communication codes, and tactical databases." Jake nodded with satisfaction. "Any resistance from the crew?" "None, sir. Once they saw our equipment, they realized fighting would be pointless. These aliens have never encountered adaptive technology before." Dr. Kevin Walsh looked up from his science station. "Captain, the data from the enemy ship is fascinating. Their technology is impressive, but it's built on rigid principles. They can't adapt to new threats the way our systems can." Jake walked over to Lisa Harper's tactical station. "What's the status of the remaining alien ships?" Lisa studied her displays. 11 ships still active, but they're not advancing. I think we've shocked them into paralysis. Their formation is defensive, but they're not retreating either." Commander Amy Carter monitored alien communications. "Captain, they're talking frantically on all frequencies. I'm picking up words that translate to impossible, unknown technology, and retreat immediately." Jake activated the communication system. "Admiral Vexithera, are you ready to discuss terms?" The alien admiral appeared on screen again. Her confident bearing from earlier had been replaced by barely controlled panic. "Captain Morrison, what do you want?" "Simple," Jake replied. "Recognition that humanity is not the primitive species you believed us to be. An end to your invasion plans, and a new understanding between our peoples." Admiral Vexithera's 4 eyes glowed with frustration. "You've been deceiving the entire galaxy. Every species believes humans are technologically inferior." "We never lied to anyone," Jake said calmly. "We simply didn't advertise our capabilities." "There's a difference between deception and discretion," Engineer Carlos Rodriguez reported from his station. "Captain, the nanite construction is complete. We now have 12 automated defense platforms surrounding the alien fleet. Each platform has the firepower to disable a cruiser-class vessel." Jake smiled grimly. "Admiral, you now have a choice. You can continue this battle against technology you don't understand, or you can listen to what humanity has to offer." The alien admiral studied her tactical displays. The human defense platforms hung in space around her fleet like metallic spiders, their weapon systems tracking her every movement. Her ships were completely surrounded by technology that had been built from space debris in mere minutes. "What kind of offer?" she asked, finally. Dr. Walsh activated his station's holographic display. "Admiral, humanity has been developing technology for peaceful purposes as well as military ones. We have medical advances that could extend Zephyrian lifespans by centuries, environmental restoration techniques that could repair damaged worlds, energy systems that could power your entire civilization without depleting resources." Admiral Vexithera leaned forward with interest despite herself. "Why would you share such technology with us?" "Because," Jake said, "we'd rather have trading partners than enemies. The galaxy is big enough for both our species to thrive." Navigator Beth Stone looked up from her station. "Captain, I'm receiving quantum entanglement signals from Admiral Sarah Patterson aboard the TCS, Invisible Hand. She reports that Zephyrian fleets throughout the sector have been neutralized without casualties." Jake nodded. "Admiral Vexithera, your invasion has been stopped at 12 different colonies. None of your ships have been destroyed and none of your personnel have been killed. We could have annihilated your entire fleet, but we chose not to. That should tell you something about human intentions." The alien admiral's expression shifted from fear to confusion. "You have the power to destroy us, but you're offering trade instead?" "That's correct," Jake replied. "Humanity isn't interested in conquest or domination. We want to be part of the galactic community as equals, not as subjects or overlords. Major Brooks appeared on screen again. Captain, I'm sending over the Zephyrian tactical data. According to their files, they've been planning to conquer 17 different species over the next decade. Humans were just the first target. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. Admiral, is this true? Admiral Vexithara's silence was answer enough. Her species had been planning a massive expansion across this entire sector of the galaxy. Amy Carter looked up from her communication station. Captain, I'm receiving transmissions from other alien species. Word of this battle is spreading fast. The Altarian Republic and the Centauri Federation are both requesting immediate communication with us. Jake realized that this encounter was bigger than just stopping a Zephyrian invasion. Humanity had just revealed itself as a major galactic power, and every species in the area wanted to know what that meant for them. Dr. Walsh studied the alien data streaming from Major Brooks' team. Captain, the Zephyrians have detailed files on dozens of species. Their technology assessments, their military capabilities, their resources. This intelligence could revolutionize human diplomacy. Jake looked back at Admiral Vexithara on the main screen. Admiral, here's what's going to happen. You're going to return to Dominion space and report that humanity is now a recognized galactic power. You're going to cancel all invasion plans against other species, and you're going to open diplomatic channels with Earth. And if I refuse? The alien admiral asked. Jake gestured to the defense platforms surrounding her fleet. Then you'll discover that these platforms are just the beginning of what humanity can build. We've been preparing for this day for 50 years, Admiral. We have weapons and defenses that your scientists couldn't imagine in their worst nightmares. Engineer Rodriguez looked up from his station. Captain, I'm detecting massive energy signatures throughout the sector. Human ships are decloaking at strategic positions around every major star system. Jake smiled. Admiral, what you're seeing is the Human Defense Network. We've been quietly building it for decades. Every major trade route, every strategic star system, every important colony world is now protected by ships like the Defiance. Admiral Vexithara stared at her long-range sensors as the true scope of human preparation became clear. Dozens of ships appeared on her displays, each one showing energy signatures that dwarfed anything in the Zephyrian fleet. This is impossible, she whispered. How did you build all of this without anyone noticing? Jake's expression became serious. Admiral, humanity learned long ago that the galaxy can be a dangerous place. We've been preparing for this day since we first encountered alien life. We hoped it would never come, but we were ready when it did. 3 hours had passed since the battle began, and Admiral Vexithara found herself in a position she had never imagined possible. Her entire fleet sat surrounded by human defense platforms while her flagship's crew worked alongside human Marines to establish new communication protocols. Captain Jake Morrison appeared on the main screen of her bridge, but now his image was accompanied by other human officers from across the sector. The scope of human organization was becoming clear to the stunned Zephyrian admiral. Admiral Vexithara, Jake said formally, I'd like you to meet Admiral Sarah Patterson, commander of our sector defense fleet. A woman with gray hair and sharp eyes appeared on screen beside Jake. Admiral Vexithara, your invasion force has been neutralized across 12 star systems. However, I'm authorized to discuss peaceful resolution of this conflict. The alien admiral studied the human faces on her screen. These weren't the primitive beings her intelligence reports had described. These were experienced military officers commanding technology that surpassed anything the Dominion possessed. What are your terms? Admiral Vexithara asked, her voice heavy with the weight of defeat. Admiral Patterson spoke with calm authority. First, immediate withdrawal of all Zephyrian forces from human space. Second, cancellation of Operation Swift Harvest and all similar invasion plans. Third, establishment of formal diplomatic relations between our species. Sub-Admiral Krenthos looked up from his station. Admiral, we're receiving similar demands from human forces throughout the sector. They have us completely surrounded. Dr. Kevin Walsh appeared on screen from the Defiance. Admiral Vexithara, we'd also like to propose technological exchange programs. Human medical technology could benefit your people significantly, and we're interested in your quantum displacement drive designs. The alien admiral's eyes widened with surprise. You want our technology? But you've demonstrated superior capabilities in every area. Not every area, Jake interjected. Your quantum drives are more efficient than our dimensional shift systems. Your shield harmonics have properties we'd like to study. We believe both species could benefit from cooperation. Major Ryan Brooks reported from the Zephyrian ship's engineering section. Captain, I've completed analysis of their power systems. Their quantum tap technology is impressive but limited. Our artificial singularity reactors have unlimited capacity, but their systems are more stable. Admiral Vexithara found herself in the strange position of having her technology complemented by the same species she had come to conquer. I don't understand. If you wanted technological exchange, why didn't you simply contact us? Commander Amy Carter looked up from her communications station. Admiral, we tried. Over the past 10 years, humanity sent 17 diplomatic messages to the Dominion. All were ignored or rejected. Your government classified us as a primitive species unworthy of contact. The alien admiral felt a cold weight in her stomach as she realized the truth. Her own government had dismissed human attempts at peaceful contact, leading directly to this military confrontation. Engineer Carlos Rodriguez activated a holographic display showing the construction nanites at work. Admiral, as a gesture of good faith, we're using our nanites to repair the damage to your ship's systems. You'll find that your vessel is actually in better condition now than when you arrived. Admiral Vexithara checked her ship's status displays and found this was true. The human nanites hadn't just repaired battle damage, they had optimized her ship's systems and improved their efficiency by 15%. Navigator Beth Stone reported from the Defiance. Captain, I'm receiving communication requests from 47 different alien species. Word of this encounter has spread throughout the galaxy. Jake nodded grimly. Admiral Vexithara, this battle has changed more than just human-Zephyrian relations. Every species in the galaxy now knows that humanity possesses advanced technology and is willing to use it defensively. Admiral Patterson added, the balance of power in this region has shifted permanently. Species that were planning their own expansion campaigns are reconsidering their options. Dr. Walsh displayed star charts on his holographic projector. Admiral, we're detecting increased military activity from the Altarian Republic, the Centauri Federation, and the Orion Syndicate. Everyone is wondering what this means for their own territories. Admiral Vexithara studied the strategic implications of what had happened. Humanity had not only stopped her invasion, but had revealed themselves as a major galactic power in the process. The political ramifications would echo throughout known space. Captain Morrison, she said finally, what does humanity want from the galaxy? Jake considered his words carefully. We want what any species wants, Admiral. Security for our people, room to grow and explore, and the chance to contribute to galactic civilization. We're not interested in conquering anyone, but we won't be conquered either. Major Brooks appeared on screen again. Captain, the Zephyrian crew has been very cooperative. They're as shocked by our technology as their admiral is. Many of them are expressing interest in cultural exchange programs. Admiral Vexithara looked around her bridge at her crew working alongside human Marines. The humans had treated her people with respect despite having overwhelming technological superiority. This wasn't how conquerors typically behaved. Admiral Patterson, she said, if I agree to your terms, how can I be sure humanity won't use this technology against the Dominion in the future? Because, Admiral Patterson replied, humanity has had this technology for decades. If we wanted to conquer the Dominion, we could have done it years ago without anyone knowing we existed. The fact that we revealed ourselves to stop your invasion rather than launching our own should tell you everything about our intentions. Engineer Rodriguez looked up from his station. Admiral Vexithara, we're prepared to share some of our defensive technology with your species immediately. Consider it a sign of good faith. The alien admiral made her decision. Captain Morrison, Admiral Patterson, I accept your terms. The Dominion will withdraw from human space and cancel Operation Swift Harvest. I'll recommend to my government that formal diplomatic relations be established immediately. Jake smiled for the first time since the battle began. Admiral, I think this is the beginning of a new era for both our species. Amy Carter monitored communications from across the galaxy. Captain, we're receiving formal contact requests from 31 different governments. The Galactic Council is calling an emergency session to discuss humanity's new status. Dr. Walsh studied the long-range sensors. Captain, I'm detecting ships from a dozen different species converging on human space. They all want to see our technology for themselves. Jake looked out at the stars through the bridge viewport. For 50 years, humanity had hidden in the shadows, preparing for the day when they would need to defend themselves. That day had come and gone, and humanity had emerged as a recognized galactic power. Admiral Vexathera's image appeared one final time on the main screen. "Captain Morrison, my fleet will begin withdrawal immediately. I hope our species can build a better future together." "So do I, Admiral," Jake replied. "So do I." As the Zephyrian ships began their journey home, the Defiance remained at Haven Prime, no longer hidden but proudly visible among the stars. The age of human secrecy was over. The age of human diplomacy had begun.